Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Councilwoman Betty Guardado, and we're going to get started. Buenas noches a todos. Soy la concejal Betty Guardado, y vamos a empezar. Just want to welcome everyone to Maryvale, District 5. You guys are in the heart of Maryvale, and we are very happy to be able to hold this meeting once again. Hoping to hear from all of you, talk to us about what are your different needs to this upcoming budget that we have. There's a lot of work that's being done as we speak, but I know there's always room for improvement and things that we still need to do. I am here today with our city manager, and we are going to get started.
So thank you, Councilwoman. So as she said, I want to welcome everyone to Maryvale for this hearing this evening on the proposed 24-25 city budget. Before we begin, I do want to introduce our interpreter, Mr. Mario Barajas. Mario.
Thank you, Jeff. Good afternoon. My name is Mario Barajas. I'm going to be serving as today's Spanish interpreter. I'll take a moment to introduce myself to our Spanish residents. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Mario Barajas y voy a estar sirviéndoles como el intérprete a los de habla hispana el día de hoy. Quisiéramos recordarles un par de puntitos, si acaso es que van a estar dando un comentario público. Se les pide de que hablen con claridad y con lentitud, así podemos interpretarles de la mejor manera posible. Anteriormente se les avisaba de que pausaran después de cada una o dos oraciones, pero en esta ocasión pueden ustedes decir sus pensamientos totalmente hasta su conclusión, y después de que ustedes concluyan, el intérprete les va a interpretar todo lo que digan. Muy bien, muchas gracias. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Mario. Before we begin the discussion on the proposed trial budget, we'd like to play a video on the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. The master plan will define the community's vision and guide the department's direction for the next 10 years and beyond. And the Parks and Recreation Department strongly encourages resident feedback. Can we cue the video, please?
Welcome to the City of Phoenix Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Phoenix Parks and Recreation is dedicated to making Phoenix a better place to live, visit, and play. In this video, we will be answering 3 basic questions. 1. What is a master plan? 2. What is the focus of Phoenix Parks and Recreation's master plan? And 3. How can you get involved? First, what is a master plan? A master plan develops a clear purpose for our department and the vision for recreation facilities, programs, and services for the next decade. A master plan provides an opportunity to receive quality feedback and have meaningful engagement from the community. The Phoenix Parks and Recreation Master Plan will start in fall of 2023 and last approximately 18 months. Second, what is the focus of this master plan? As part of our master plan, Phoenix Parks and Recreation will be evaluating and taking inventory of all existing parks, recreation programming, and facilities, with an emphasis on water conservation and crime prevention. We will also assess community demographics and recreation trends to ensure equitable access to programs and services, and will evaluate how the department prioritizes funding. Lastly, how can you get involved? A large part of the master plan depends on you and your feedback. Phoenix Parks and Recreation will host community workshops, send out surveys, attend community events, survey neighborhoods and parks facilities, and work with community groups to receive feedback about our parks and recreation amenities and services. It's crucial to have public feedback throughout the entire process because, after all, our department serves thousands of Phoenicians every day. Thank you for being part of this journey as we pave the way for the next decade of parks and recreation services, creating spaces for all.
Bienvenidos al Plan Maestro del Departamento de Parques y Recreación de la ciudad de Phoenix. Parques y Recreación de Phoenix está dedicado a hacer de Phoenix un mejor lugar donde vivir, visitar y jugar. En este video estaremos contestando 3 preguntas básicas. 1. ¿Qué es un plan maestro? 2. ¿Cuál es el enfoque del plan maestro del Departamento de Parques y Recreación de Phoenix? Y 3. ¿Cómo usted puede involucrarse? Primero, ¿qué es un plan maestro? Un plan maestro es una herramienta que se utiliza para guiar el desarrollo de parques y recreación por toda la ciudad. El plan brinda una visión clara para las instalaciones de recreación, actividades recreativas, programas y servicios para la próxima década. Un plan maestro brinda la oportunidad de recibir comentarios y contar con la participación de la comunidad. El plan maestro del Departamento de Parques y Recreación de Phoenix comenzará en el otoño de 2023 y durará aproximadamente 18 meses. Segundo, ¿cuál es el enfoque del plan maestro del Departamento de Parques y Recreación de Phoenix? Como parte de nuestro plan maestro, el Departamento de Parques y Recreación de Phoenix evaluará y tomará inventario de todos los parques existentes, los programas de recreación e instalaciones, con un enfoque en la conservación del agua y prevención de crímenes. También evaluaremos los datos demográficos de las comunidades y las tendencias en la recreación para garantizar acceso equitativo a los programas y servicios. Y evaluaremos cómo priorizar los fondos del departamento. Por último, ¿cómo usted puede involucrarse? Gran parte del plan maestro depende de usted y de sus comentarios. El Departamento de Parques y Recreación estará patrocinando talleres comunitarios, enviará encuestas, asistirá a eventos comunitarios, encuestará a los vecindarios y las instalaciones de parques y trabajará con los grupos comunitarios para recibir opiniones sobre nuestras instalaciones y servicios de parques y recreación. Es importante contar con la opinión del público a lo largo de todo este proceso, porque al fin y al cabo, nuestro departamento presta servicio a miles de fenicios cada día. Gracias por formar parte de este viaje en el que preparamos el camino para la próxima década de servicios de parques y recreación, creando espacios para todos.
So the feedback that we received today is vitally important as we finalize the proposed trial budget to present to City Council. We want your input to be heard and considered before the budget is approved. The proposed budget will be presented to the City Council on May 7th and voted on May 21st. As presented to the City Council on February 27th and March 19th, the fiscal year 24-25 proposed general fund budget includes a one-time surplus of $80 million. However, due to the state's actions to eliminate residential rental sales tax effective January 2025 and to reduce the individual income tax rate to the current flat tax, deficits are projected in both fiscal years 25-26 and 26-27. Because the city is required to adopt a balanced budget, unlike our partners at the federal government, it is recommended that we set aside the $80 million surplus to help balance the 25-26 budget. If you wish to speak at today's hearing on the proposed budget, I ask you to please fill out a comment card. If you wish to leave a comment but not to speak, you can also fill out a comment card and select no to speak. Another way to participate is through the use of the online budget tool called Fund Phoenix. This online tool lets you provide direct feedback on the proposed budget, and it's available at phoenix.gov/budget. We will now play the 5-minute video on the proposed trial budget in both English and Spanish. This video includes information on the GEO bond program approved by the voters on November 7th, 2023. Immediately following the video, we will move to speaker comments.
The City of Phoenix trial budget for fiscal year 2024-2025, proposed by the Phoenix City Manager, is ready for public review and comment. A trial budget is a preliminary draft of the actual budget, estimating resources and costs to deliver services to the community for the coming fiscal year. How does Phoenix's annual budget work? The city budget is made up of 3 funds: the general fund, enterprise funds, and special revenue funds. The general fund is made up of general sales tax, property taxes, revenue distributed by the state from income tax, sales tax, and vehicle tax, and some fines and fees. The general fund supports many of the core services our residents, visitors, and businesses have come to expect in Phoenix, including libraries, parks, senior and youth programs, and police and fire services. Enterprise funds include city departments that only charge the people who use their services directly, like water and sewer, airline passengers at Sky Harbor, and trash and recycling customers. Finally, special revenue funds earmarked for specific purposes, from grants and voter-approved sales taxes dedicated for parks and preserves, transportation, and public safety. That's how Phoenix gets its money. Now, how do we spend it? Phoenix has a long history of responsible budgeting, ensuring resources are balanced to projected expenses each fiscal year. A top priority of the City Council is to ensure the public can engage in the budget development process every year, giving the community a voice in the future of our city. Residents have multiple opportunities to provide their input ahead of final budget decision-making scheduled for May 21st. Each year, departments work with budget and research to estimate costs to deliver existing programs and services, and staff forecast what resources will be available to pay for services. The city manager then proposes a trial budget in March that identifies how resources should best be allocated to ensure a balanced budget each fiscal year and to achieve city council and community priorities. Then we ask for your input at community budget hearings in April by using the Fund Phoenix interactive budget tool available in English and Spanish, or by contacting the city directly to ensure the budget reflects the priorities of our residents and city council. After receiving your input, the city council will vote on the budget in May and legally adopt the budget in June. State law requires the city's budget to be balanced, and this year the 2024-25 proposed budget includes a projected one-time general fund surplus of $80 million. However, the state legislative and executive branches recently made decisions that reduce the city's tax base. Senate Bill 1131 eliminates residential rental tax, and Senate Bill 1828 reduced individual income tax rates. The total general fund estimated impact in fiscal year 2024-25 is $54 million, and for fiscal year 25-26, $86 million from the state's actions. Due to the estimated ongoing revenue losses, city staff is projecting future deficits in fiscal years 2025-26 and 2026-27. And it is for this reason the city manager is proposing to set aside and reserve the $80 million one-time surplus to ensure future budgets can remain balanced and to preserve existing programs and services such as police and fire, parks, libraries, neighborhood and human services, and other essential community programs that can continue to be delivered to the community. We encourage you to provide your input in whatever way works best for you. You can use Fund Phoenix, an interactive budget tool in English and Spanish that lets you provide direct feedback on the proposed fiscal year 2024-25 general fund trial budget, or by email at budget.research@phoenix.gov. You can comment to the city's social media pages at City of Phoenix AZ on Facebook or on X using hashtag PHXBudget, or call us at 602-262-4800. The city manager will present his proposed budget for fiscal year 2024-2025 to Phoenix City Council on May 7th, 2024. The council's budget decision will take place on May 21st, 2024. All resident feedback will be shared with City Council so they may consider it before making final budget decisions. As a reminder, in November 2023, voters approved a $500 million general obligation bond program made up of 47 projects citywide. Projects include new and improved fire stations, parks, libraries, community and recreation centers, regional pools and splash pads, street and storm drain infrastructure improvements, projects for art facilities, and resources for affordable housing, renewable energy, and water efficiency projects. GeoBond projects are paid for with secondary property taxes, and projects are starting this summer. More information can be found online at phoenix.gov/bond. Thank you for engaging in the budget process and helping build the Phoenix of tomorrow.
El presupuesto de prueba de la Municipalidad de Phoenix para el año fiscal 2024-2025, propuesto por el administrador municipal de Phoenix, está listo para la revisión y comentarios del público. Un presupuesto de la prueba es un borrador preliminar del presupuesto real, estimando los recursos y costos para presentar servicios a la comunidad para el próximo año fiscal. ¿Cómo funciona el presupuesto anual de Phoenix? El presupuesto de la municipalidad se compone de 3 fondos: el fondo general, los fondos empresariales y los fondos de ingresos especiales. El fondo general se compone del impuesto general sobre las ventas, los impuestos sobre las propiedades, los ingresos distribuidos por el Estado procedentes de impuestos sobre la renta, el impuesto sobre las ventas y el impuesto sobre vehículos, y algunas multas y tasas. El Fondo General apoya muchos de los servicios básicos que nuestros residentes, visitantes y empresas han llegado a esperar en Phoenix, incluyendo bibliotecas, parques, programas para adultos mayores y jóvenes, y servicios de la policía y bomberos. Los fondos empresariales incluyen los departamentos de municipalidades que solo cobran directamente a las personas que han utilizado sus servicios, como el agua y el alcantarillado, los pasajeros aéreos en Sky Harbor y los clientes de los servicios de basura y reciclaje. Por último, los fondos de ingresos especiales, destinados a fines específicos a partir de subvenciones e impuestos sobre las ventas aprobadas por los votantes, están dedicados a parques y reservas, transporte y seguridad pública. Así es como Phoenix consigue su dinero. Ahora, ¿cómo lo gastamos? Phoenix cuenta con un largo historial de presupuestos responsables, que garantiza el equilibrio entre los recursos y los gastos previstos para cada año fiscal. Una de las principales prioridades del Consejo Municipal es asegurar que el público pueda participar en el proceso de desarrollo de presupuesto cada año, dando a la comunidad una voz en el futuro de nuestra ciudad. Los residentes tienen múltiples oportunidades para dar su opinión antes de la decisión final sobre el presupuesto, prevista para el 21 de mayo. Cada año, los departamentos estudian lo que se necesitará para presentar servicios al año siguiente, y el personal prevé los recursos que dispondrá para pagarlos. A continuación, el administrador municipal propone en marzo de cada año un presupuesto de prueba en el que se determina la mejor forma de asignar los recursos para garantizar un presupuesto equilibrado cada año fiscal y cumplir con las prioridades del Consejo Municipal y la comunidad. A continuación, le pedimos su opinión en las audiencias comunitarias sobre el presupuesto que se celebra en abril. Utilizamos las herramientas interactivas del presupuesto Fund Phoenix disponible en inglés y español, o poniéndose en contacto directamente con la municipalidad para garantizar que el presupuesto refleja las prioridades de nuestros residentes y el Consejo Municipal. Tras recibir sus aportaciones, la municipalidad votará sobre el presupuesto en mayo y lo aprobará legalmente en junio de cada año. La ley estatal exige que el presupuesto de la municipalidad sea conciliado, y este año el presupuesto para 2024-25 incluye un superávit único proyectado de $80 millones en el Fondo General. Sin embargo, recientemente los poderes legislativo y ejecutivo del Estado tomaron decisiones que reducen la base tributaria de la ciudad. El proyecto de ley del Senado 1131 elimina el impuesto sobre alquileres residenciales, y el proyecto de ley del Senado 1828 redujo las tasas tributarias individuales. Debido a las estimadas pérdidas continuas de ingresos, el personal de la ciudad está proyectando déficits futuros en los años fiscales 2025-26 y 2026-27, y es por eso que el administrador municipal está proponiendo reservar los $80 millones de superávit único para garantizar que los presupuestos futuros puedan mantenerse equilibrados y para preservar los programas y servicios existentes, como la policía y los bomberos, parques, bibliotecas, servicios de vecindarios y humanos, y que otros programas comunitarios esenciales puedan continuar brindándose a la comunidad. Le animamos a dar su opinión de la manera que más le convenga. Puede utilizar Fund Phoenix, una herramienta presupuestaria interactiva disponible en inglés y español, que le permite proporcionar comentarios directos sobre el presupuesto de prueba del Fondo General propuesto para el año fiscal 2024-25, o por correo electrónico a budget.research@phoenix.gov. Puede comentar en las páginas de nuestras redes sociales de la municipalidad City of Phoenix AZ, en Facebook o en X usando el hashtag PhoenixBudget, o llámenos al 602-262-4800. El administrador municipal presentará su propuesta del presupuesto para el año fiscal 2024-25 al Consejo Municipal de Phoenix el 7 de mayo del 2024, y la decisión del Consejo sobre el presupuesto tendrá lugar el 21 de mayo del 2024. Todas las opiniones de los residentes se transmitirán al Consejo Municipal para que las tengan en cuenta antes de tomar las decisiones presupuestarias definitivas. En noviembre del 2023, los votantes aprobaron un programa de bonos de obligación general, GO, de 500 millones, compuesto de 47 proyectos en toda la ciudad. Los proyectos incluyen nuevas y mejoradas estaciones de bomberos, parques, bibliotecas, centros comunitarios y recreativos, piscinas regionales y áreas de juegos acuáticos, mejoras en la infraestructura vial y de drenaje pluvial, proyectos de instalaciones para las artes y recursos para viviendas asequibles, energía renovable y proyectos de eficiencia del agua. Los proyectos de bonos GO se pagan con los impuestos secundarios sobre la propiedad, y los proyectos comienzan este verano. Se puede encontrar más información en línea en phoenix.gov/bond. Gracias por participar en el proceso del presupuesto y construcción del Phoenix del mañana.
Okay, we will now begin calling names. As your name is called, please walk up to the microphone to the front. And we do, as a reminder, have Spanish translation available by Mr. Mario Barajas for any of our Spanish speakers in the audience. And I'll turn it over to the councilwoman.
Thank you, Jeff. So we will start with Lisa Glow from Council District 7.
Thank you. Good evening, Councilwoman Guardado, City Manager, and City staff. My name is Lisa Glow. I'm CEO at Central Arizona Shelter Services. Thank you also, Phoenix, for your support for our services for the almost last 40 years. You founded us and you've supported us since then, so thank you for that. As Arizona's largest homeless provider for adults, we are continuing to see rising numbers. Last year, we served nearly 7,000 individuals. It was a 4% increase over the prior year, and the year prior to that was 34% increase. These numbers will again rise when we open up the Senior Haven with 170 new beds for the 55 and older population. With the continuing rise in need and our expansion of services, we are asking for your support in this year's budget for our two main shelters. First, for our Sunny Slope Family Shelter, which has operated for 35 years in Phoenix. This Sunny Slope apartment complex serves 120 to 150 family members every day and night with emergency shelter, case management, housing support, and programming. It's the second largest after UMOM. The vast majority of our residents here are from Phoenix, and we have many large families that we can accommodate there, and about 65% of all the residents there are children. Family homelessness, according to the COC and MAG, is on the rise in our community. We're asking for a budget allocation of $450,000 to help us keep open at the levels needed. Second, we are asking for an increased amount on our contract for our adult shelter that is at 600 beds, 24/7 services, and client employment and empowerment programs. We're truly grateful for you helping us most recently to bridge a funding gap from not having state funding. We're also grateful for the inflation factor on our contract of $169,000 that brings our contract to $1.047 million annually, about 18% of our budget. Last calendar year, we served 4,700 adults with 211,000 bed nights. Over the last 2 years, 70 to 80% of all the adults served there were Phoenix residents. For case management, 79% of all of our one-on-one case management is Phoenix residents. For all other support services, almost 70% are all Phoenix residents, and that does not include the housing support we secure separately for those Phoenix residents. We're asking you to add another $453,000 onto our contract for a total of $1.5 million. This funding will allow us to hire 6 case managers and to pay for our increasing rent and maintenance costs on the Key campus, as well as inside the shelter where maintenance costs have also gone up from serving 600 people. I also want to say a special thank you, Councilwoman Guardado, for your support for our seniors, and we look forward to having you at the ribbon cutting for the Senior Haven in the coming months. That project would not have been possible without you. It will be a model. It will be beautiful, I promise, when it's done. You know, we're getting past our construction delays, and we're really grateful for your leadership and support. We were also able, over the last 5.5 months, to serve additional seniors prior to opening the Haven, and I want to say thank you to Phoenix for helping us rent that hotel. We had operating dollars from ARPA funds, and we do still have some of those dollars left to get open the Haven, so we're looking forward very much to that day. To conclude, we're delivering more and more than ever to people in our community with many rising costs. We're serving more adults than any other provider. And homelessness is still increasing. With the ARPA cliff, we will still need more help. And just thank you for your leadership. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Now we will go next to David Ramirez.
Excuse me, my voice is kind of rough. The allergies going on. Hello, Councilwoman, City Manager, members of the City Manager's Office, the City Budget Research staff, and members and the community. My name is David Ramirez. I am a 4th-generation Phoenician. I'm a proud member of the Phoenix Fire Department. I work as a firefighter. I am also a proud member of the United Phoenix Firefighters Local 493. We are here as a group of firefighters and brothers and sisters to raise awareness for our Phoenix Fire Crisis Campaign. The fact that we are here shows how serious we are about this crisis and its desired consequences. Response times in Phoenix are nearly 9 minutes on average, much higher than the national standards of 5 minutes. It's these extra minutes and seconds that can be the difference of life and death for you or your loved one. In this neighborhood in Maryvale, this council district, the average response time of a Phoenix fire ambulance is almost 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 49 seconds. So if you call 911, the average time for you to wait there with your loved one is almost 10 minutes. Down the street on 43rd Avenue, Engine 15 and Engine 24 both ran over 4,500 calls in 2023. Anything over 4,000 calls a year is considered extremely high work overload, meaning adjacent fire trucks must come from another neighborhood while Engine 15 and 24 is on a call, creating a longer response times for everyone's emergency. To effectively decrease emergency response times, the Phoenix Fire Department needs more firefighters. We need more paramedics. We need more fire trucks, more ambulances, and more fire stations throughout the city. We ask for your support of our elected leaders in adding this much needed resources for the Phoenix Fire Department. We ask you that you please visit phxfirecrisis.com. It's phxfirecrisis.com for more information on our awareness campaign. So thank you for your time and thank you for your support.
Thank you. Next, we will go to Jeff Spellman, District 5.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Really appreciate the opportunity. And Mr. Barton, thank you for a good presentation. I don't have a lot of specifics. This doesn't seem to be a really, big issue budget this year. I think it was very wise of the council and Mr. Barton to set aside the $80 million for what's expected, a future shortfall. I think that was very wise. Looking through the trial budget, it looks like there's not a lot of new positions being proposed in the budget. I think that's a good thing because those positions are going to cost us a lot of money into the future. So I think it's a very good management position. I mean, certainly there's some new things. There's some money that's being dedicated to existing programs. I think that's wise to put those where they need to be. A couple of ones that I did pick out that I want to mention. One, a prosecutor for the 19th Avenue Community Safety Plan. I saw that in the proposal, and I think that's really good. The city has invested millions of dollars in all of our community safety plans with the technology. It's starting to pay off, but some of the challenges that we're having is seeing the repeat offenders getting prosecuted. They get picked up by the police. The police are arresting hundreds, thousands of people in these community safety plan areas. But we're a little bit challenged figuring out why they're not getting prosecuted, why we have the same people coming back into the same places over and over and over again. So I think that's a wise additional position in the law department. The other one that I just want to mention is housing. We are beginning to work a lot with housing in terms of affordable housing. We have several properties in District 5. The first one, the Helen Drake Senior Center, the Helen Drake housing project there. Looks like there's going to be another one next to Homestead Park. There's a lot of work that goes into those things, and I don't know that housing has the staffing that they need to as we look at more and more vacant city-owned parcels that we're looking at trying to put housing on. It's going to take staff to work through those projects and so forth. So I don't know when it's ever going to be a good time to add positions for that. But at least I'd like you to look at that and think about it. Housing, I think, is working really, really hard to make sure that our existing housing projects are well-run, well-managed. We've been working with them closely on criminal issues and stuff that are happening in some of those projects. They're doing a good job with it. But I think the latest thing about developing these vacant city-owned parcels is a really good thing. It's going to give families opportunities to buy homes and be able to own that home and build equity in those homes. I think that's really wise, for our city to try to encourage home ownership that way. So anyway, it's going to take some staffing, I think, to do that work. So to at least ask that you think about that in the future. It's probably not going to happen now, but if we can really think about it in the future for supporting housing that way, I'd appreciate it. Everything else, I think, looks great. I think you've done a marvelous job. Thank you.
Thank you. We will go next to Jorge Castañeda, District 5.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Councilwoman Guardado. Thank you for the opportunity to let me share my concerns. So I'm in District 5. I'm in the outer skirts, outer boundaries of City of Phoenix. One of the major concerns or problems that we see, as we all know, homeless is up in the rise. Everybody's seen it. There was a big problem downtown. What's happening on the outer skirts of District 5 is our sister cities, Glendale, Avondale, Tolleson, they have zero tolerance for homeless in their boundaries. So and I see this with my own eyes. I live right on 83rd and Glendale. If they see a small homeless encampment going on the north side of Camelback, PD's right there. They escort them, push them right south of Camelback. Go camp over there. That's all they're doing. They're just tossing them to our side. I see it. Avondale's doing the same thing to Phoenix. They have zero tolerance for it. Tolleson, same thing. So we are seeing in District 5 in the outer boundaries, Camelback, 83rd Avenue, really bad. And it's not just homeless hanging around, it's them trashing it. They're trashing wherever they camp, they trash it. That's the biggest problem. That's one of my concerns that I have. Second is extremely red light running and speeding in District 5 where I live at. I brought this up a few years ago. Can we bring red light cameras and speed radar? I believe that if we look at it, this will change people's behaviors and it'll bring revenue for our first responders. Okay, it'll bring revenue for homeless, for quite a bit of things that we're lacking. We could use those funds, coming in, and at the same time, we're making our community a safer place by changing people's driving behavior. Thank you for your time.
I just have one response to you. I would love for you to connect with Emmanuel or with Deborah. They're sitting there, and I know Rachel can use, Rachel's also, if you can talk to her as well. She's with Homeless Solution Office as well. Yes. So let's talk about this, because you're not the only one that's talking to us, and we would love to connect with you to see how do we deal with some of these issues.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Next, Elizabeth Aguilar, District 5. Oh, you're not going to, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, as well, you can connect with Emmanuel, for whatever questions, or you can talk to me once the meeting's over. Thank you. And then we have Annie Eldon from District 4.
Good evening, Councilwoman Guardado, Good evening, City Manager Barton. Good to see you again. So my name is Annie Eldon, and I am a citizen of District 4, but I'm here speaking on behalf of Phoenix Spokespeople. We're a nonprofit that focuses on trying to make streets in Phoenix safer and friendlier for people who bike. And we are asking for a few of the following requests. First of all, please ensure that there are funds to continue to build protected bike lanes on 3rd Street from Lincoln to Roosevelt. South Phoenix is still quite segregated from the rest of Phoenix, and this bike lane is one way to begin to build a connection. It also furthers the goals of creating a north-south bikeway. Next, please continue to fund Complete Streets by creating a designated Complete Streets position in the Streets Transportation Department. This way, they'd be able to focus on specific ways to make streets complete, and by complete streets, that means to make the streets comfortable and safe for everyone who uses it. So whether you're driving, whether you're walking, biking, just trying to make them safer by adding more trees, adding more curbs, adding more bike lanes, sidewalks. I recently saw a statistic that I think just by adding sidewalks saves, don't quote me on this, but I think over 60% of crashes for pedestrians, so it could make a huge difference. And so yeah, Complete Streets is a huge thing. Thirdly, please continue to fund and implement project suggestions for the Phoenix CAN program. This is a program run through the Phoenix Transportation Department. And it really focuses on working with the community, reaching out to community members to find out what are the needs of the community to try to make the streets safer, try to make your neighborhood safer. I know Maryvale is coming up on is the next village, one of the next villages coming up. So I hope everyone will be on the lookout for information about that. There's some very in-depth surveys asking what can you do to make your community better. So please continue to fund that. And in general, we would love to have a designated fund for completing quick build projects, such as painting in bike lanes on an extra wide street or adding a crosswalk sign. Many of these could stem from the Phoenix CAN program, so it could be a big benefit. We realize that the city budget is limited and precious, and there are many things that need to be funded. Supporting these requests by Phoenix spokespeople would create a safer, more enjoyable space for all of our residents. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Just wanting to give that opportunity. If anyone came up with some questions or suggestions as you guys heard other people. Okay, well, thank you guys all so much for coming out tonight. We still have an opportunity for you guys to still continue. We will have another meeting here next week, again, together with Councilwoman Pastor. So we encourage you guys to let people know if there's more people that would like to come and join us to the meeting. Please email us, please call us. Let us know what are your concerns. This is the budget hearings, but as a council office, you guys know that my office, my door, our phones are always open to all of you guys to be able to hear all of your concerns and suggestions that you guys might have for our office or for our city. With that, I will turn it over to our city manager.
I just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns on the budget, you can definitely send those our way to the either through Fund Phoenix Tool or phoenix.gov/budget. You can also call 602-262-4800. I've got that number memorized from the 15 years I spent in the department. So again, just contact us with any comments, questions, or concerns you may have. Take care.